It's all work, right? It's all work, whether that be solar or what have you. A plus, it's, No, I don't get no personal emails. And and it is a funny thing. Y'all go, you're all excited and you want to learn about this. And good morning, brother. Here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna curse me one day because all of the phone calls and correspondence that you get will suddenly change to, "Hey, I heard you work on computers." See? I'm saying family members, everybody, the correspondence changes when you start doing it. And it's going to happen. There's no way around it.
Wow. That could be good for business, though.
That's the thing. And once we get some more people in here, I'm going to explain some things in that very specific area because it is important to manage that. Knowing that it will be, it is very important to manage that.
Okay.
So I'm going to just let a few more people get in and get their sound and all the rest.
I'm driving, so I'm going to put you on mute.
Okay.
All right.
So, again, good morning. We were just talking about kind of the curse that I'm putting on y'all right here because, and it is a curse because so here's what's going to happen, okay? You are going to be, you are going to learn about technology. And as we study and go forward and learn, you're going to become more capable, right? You're going to be able to fix cell phones. You're going to be able to fix these laptops. You're going to be able to find them on eBay, refurb them, and sell them. You're going to be able to do this on a regular basis, right? You will have the skills. So, any place that I go to work, right? If you was to ever actually open up my bag and look inside my bag, what I'm bringing into work, it's some fruits and some nuts. And it's like that. The only thing that I need to bring is in my mind. I don't need to bring none. The only tool that I need is my mind, right? You're going to be there, right? You're going to be there from a technological standpoint. Every place that you go, right? You walk down the street, and there's businesses. There's a small insurance company. There's a small store. Guess what? They all run on computers, right? They all have today. It is an interesting one, and we'll get into it. But today, every bank today in the world, all right, currently has a problem. They're all running Windows XP. And the reason that is true is because the banking industry is one that's very slow to uptake on technology. They don't have to, right? They've got these systems that have been built forever. They work. They don't have to update them, right? So what happened is Windows XP was end of life by way of Microsoft, right? End of life, which means there's no more security updates, there's no more patches, okay? What that does is it makes the banks outside of security compliance. So every ATM that you go to anywhere in the world is running on a Windows XP computer. Guess what? That's business. The reason that they haven't upgraded is because oftentimes they've got some proprietary software, something that somebody wrote for them, right? And again, it has worked for them. The problem is they're currently out of compliance, and each and every one of them need to upgrade their machines, okay? Knowing this, means that you could potentially develop a plan, a proposal, a business plan, walk into basically any bank, speak with the branch manager, and look, as I'm saying this to you, I don't need to walk in their bank to know this. I know this already. I don't need to go look at so I can speak to this man based on an issue that is facing him and I just came off the street. He don't know me from a can of paint, but I know what's facing him, right? Simply because I know technology. So you will begin to walk through this world and you will see all of these different places where you have facility, where what you know and what you can do can make a difference, okay? The reason I say it is a curse is because you will develop a passion for this. Suddenly it's like, oh, shoot, wow, I can do this, right? You'll develop a passion. People will start to see you and hear you doing different things with technology, laptops, fixing cell phones all of a sudden. You're doing these things, right? Data recovery. You know, you got Craigslist ads out there and you're doing this work, right? Okay. Again, suddenly, all of the conversations that you have in your interpersonal relationships will no longer be, girl, how was your day? It's not going to be that anymore. I have this problem is what the conversation will turn to. It will be people telling you, hey, I need you to fix this. I need your help with this. That's what will happen. And there's just no way around it. It is important to learn the communication requirements to monetize everything, right? So I'll give you an example. And it is not far-fetched. You will encounter it where people will say to you, hey, I heard you like to work on computers. I have this problem. Slow down. Slow down. See? The things that I like to do, I joined summer camp to do. I work on computers to make my money. You understand? What we want to do is differentiate that in the minds of all people, of all comers. No, 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 no. See? I do this to make money. I don't do this because it's a hobby. I don't do this because it's fun. I eat from this. And as long as you can keep that very, very clear, then anything that you do is valuable. Another quick story, and I'm going to share out my resume. I didn't really have a plan. DeMonte hit me up last night and said, I got this thing to do. Can you grab the Sandbox? So I've been sitting since last night and this morning thinking, okay, what are we going to do in this Sandbox? Okay, so I'm gonna do one of the things that we have done in some of the past sandboxes, which has been helpful, and it begins a conversation and a direction that we need to be in. Okay, but so I said that, you know, what you learn and your passion here relative to technology is valuable, and it should always be monetized. You should do nothing for free. And if you do something for free, whoever it is that you are doing it for should be very well aware that you have done them a favor, okay? And you must do this. It's not an optional. You're messing up the game if you don't do this, okay? You've got to do this, or else the expectation is that they can get this for free from anybody, okay? And that is not true. Quick little story. There's this company, okay? And they got this great big machine. Takes up 2 city blocks. Gigantic machine. And this machine's job is to print out money. Okay? It prints money. All right. One day, and that machine prints out billions of dollars a day. Okay? One day the machine breaks down. Okay? And they call in a service repair man. Okay? They go in to fix this machine. They walk in. They spend 20 seconds in that room with that machine. And then they come back out, and they give the man a bill, and the bill says $5 million. Okay? And the man says, whoa, 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 you know, wait a second. You walked up in that room and spent 20 seconds, and you handed me a bill for $5 million. Look here, I need an itemization. I need to know what it is that I'm paying for. Okay? So give me a breakdown of what it is that was just done here. Okay? The service repairman says, yes, I can do that. So he grabs the paper and he writes. And he writes down on it, a nut costs 5 cents. Knowing where to put that nut cost you $499.99 million. That's what. It's the body of knowledge. It's not the fact that it was very easy for me to do. It is the fact that you couldn't do it for yourself. Okay? So you cannot mess up the game and not ensure that people know that what it is that you're able to do is of value. You must charge it. If you don't, then you devalue the skill and you destroy the market for everybody else. Does that make sense? All right. So
Yep.
what I'm going to show you, and again, I came here today and had not an idea in my head relative to what I was going to do for the Sandbox. I wasn't necessarily going to be present. It just happens that I didn't go up north or down south or anywhere. So what I figured I'd do today is get everyone a copy of my resume, okay? The reason being, so when this is all said and done, okay, when you have completed this A+ course, okay, each of you have the opportunity or the ability to add my company as a reference to you in your work searches or in your journey to try to grab contracts as an independent contractor, right? We will provide for you a reference, right? And say that you've worked with this organization for 2 years, doing whatever it is that you're going to apply requires you to do, okay? So what that means is when you're done here, this isn't a hit it and quit it. When you are done here, we intend to ensure that you are successful going forward using a template that has been developed, okay? One of the pieces to that would be my resume, okay? So on screen, and I don't know how many people are dialed in or not, on screen you see my resume. My resume wins. I don't care if there are 5,000 resumes that have been sent for a job. When they see my resume, they pull it from the stack. Doesn't matter what experience is there. They pull it from the stack. And when they call me and they bring me in to sit down and speak with me, the first thing they say is, yo, that was the dopest resume I ever seen in my life. Consistently. And everybody who has used it, DeMonte uses it, right? And I got to tell you, DeMonte, as young as he is, 21 years old, he has already experienced the bidding wars, where companies say to you, well, I know they're offering you this. How about we offer you that? And you say, that's a nice offer. Let me take some time to think it through, speak with my family, and determine whether or not this is the best move for us. And you put them on hold, and you reach back out to the other company, and you say, well, I really like your company. I like your direction. I like what you're doing. But I was offered this from that organization. So the truth is, the bottom line is what really matters here. Organizational fit, all those other things, yes, they're relevant, but they just offered me 5, 10 over what you were offering. And guess what? They come back with an offer. And so DeMonte, at like 21 years old, has already experienced this. It took me some time in this industry before I had it like that. And I got to the place where I was, wait a second, let me mute you. I got to the place where I would collect and watch the FedEx, DHL, and UPS men race to my door bringing me offer letters, right? And again, you'll get there. You will see it, right? So what I'd like to do is I'd like to get everybody a copy of my resume so that what you can do is, and don't go out there and say you, me. I don't want you to use my my data. What I want you to do is retrofit it. Now, my queen is, interestingly enough, she is an editor. So what we'll do is, if you all get your resumes together, we will correspond and have her put your resume into this one, okay, and format it appropriately, okay? And once that's done, yeah, you ready to rock. You ready to rock, okay? And really, again, all she's going to do is go right in here and change up the data so that it is yours and reflect your information, okay? So now, I go through and, as we look over on the side, the qualifications, right? At the end of the day, when we're looking at jobs, if you look at some jobs, and let me pull some up. This might be a little early session to be doing, but it won't hurt, okay? Let's look for some jobs. I'm going to look for a help desk or a desktop. Who is where? Somebody tell me the location where they are.
Philadelphia. Virginia Beach.
Philadelphia.
Texas.
Virginia.
Connecticut.
Ooh. Okay, Philadelphia. Desktop support. 476. Okay. K-Force. Whoa. Let me tell you something. You see these? Apex, Insight Global, the Judge Group. These are all Modus. I worked for a few of these. I worked for Modus. I worked for Insight Global. I worked for Apex. Matter of fact, Insight Global probably got me the position that I am in. Let me explain something to you. The way that the jobs work today, you're generally going through a recruiter. And understand, a recruiter doesn't eat unless they put a body in place. So guess what? They don't care. They want to sell you. Let's be 100. This is an old-time slave auction is what this is. You're selling yourself. Anyone that's looking for a job, that's what you're doing. You're selling yourself, okay? In the area of technology, the recruiter is your best friend. It is your best friend. They will always keep you working, okay? They don't care. All they care is that a body gets in. You'll step in with a polished resume with the appropriate answers. This is a game, okay? This is all a game. When we talk about technology and IT, it is all a big game. And it's a matter of understanding that causes you to be at the top of that game, okay? And again, I'm going to dig into that and kind of explain that a little bit more. But when you look at these jobs, right? When you look at these job advertisements, okay, 25 to 30 annually, that's $25 and 30 to 30. They're just not very smart. This is an HR. I can tell you off the rip that this was an HR representative that wrote this. Okay? They have no idea as it relates to technology. So what does that mean to me? It means the very first person, the screen door that I'm going to speak to is not technical. All I got to do is play the game, right? They are not technical. I know that off the rip, okay? The next thing is a 6-month contract to hire with our client. Full-time salary conversion will be $47,053 depending on experience. Summary of experience. Client is seeking a professional to provide end-user support and troubleshooting on new and modified information technology programs and systems via help desk structure, including but not limited to procedural or programmatic matters, queries or extracts, training, system documentation, and new systems or component testing and implementation. Okay? Essential duties consist of, but are not limited to, call center, blah, 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 right? Coordinate, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? Okay, So we come down to the requirements. Bachelor's degree, preferably in a technology field, equivalent experience may be considered, demonstrated knowledge of current technology. Application development support experience or related education at least 1 year experience preferred. Prior experience with knowledge of relational database concepts and client-server web application architectures. Experience in developing and conducting user training is technically proficient with at least 2 technology areas. Project management. Okay, you're looking are we reading all this together? Excellent interpersonal skills, results-oriented, work collaboratively with others, strong communication and interpersonal. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Guess what they just said to you? In reading this ad, I wish I could blow it up, can I? In reading this ad, you know what they just said to you? All this crap that we said you need to have, you don't need to have. All you got to do is speak. All you got to do is walk in and not make them hate you. True story. True story. Look, all of this has been rendered irrelevant. Rendered irrelevant. How do they do that? They do that with the words that they used. They didn't say, and this is what I'm trying to demonstrate. In all of these jobs, none of them are going to say to you, we need to see on your resume that you've got 4 years of experience doing this. That you have a college, look, wait a minute. Understand, if you got a bachelor's degree in a technology field, then why would you be accepting $47,000 to $53,000 a year? Right? You wouldn't. So understand what they're doing out here. This is like I said, it's a game. It's a game of poker. So they're throwing these things out here and they're saying, this is what we need you to have. Guess what they actually distilled it down to? Works collaboratively with others. Excellent interpersonal skills. If you fit, you get in. Now, here's what else. When you get in to any organization, guess what? You got 3 months in which you can just be quiet, keep your mouth shut, and learn. 3 months. Every single organization that you ever work with is going to give you that probationary period, 3 months. Okay? So if you can sit, be quiet, and learn what it is, you could, in fact, have a career there forever if you want. If you don't, what you could do is you can use them for training. You can use them for the various peripheral benefits. See, your salary isn't the only benefit. When we look in here, training benefits exist. There's all different kinds of benefits. Okay? So with that in mind, after your first position in IT, I promise you, the training will be free. You will add prerequisite certification training as a condition of your employment, and you will get it. Right? So the moment you take a step into this field, everything changes. Okay? Now, furthermore, to my sisters, the number one area that is most qualified to meet you where you need it is software development. You heard me say before that that there are 8.1 million unfilled technology jobs today. Of that 8.1, 5 million of that is software development. Now guess what? When you look up software development, okay? Oh, VP of software development, SaaS. Look at what, so when you look up software development, what you need for this position, 3 to 5 years leadership experience in software development, proven history in software as a service, product development from concept to launch. Now, understand, I'm looking at a VP position. This is a VP position. What they're saying to you is they need to see that you were on board with a launch, right? That you saw the life cycle of a product development and a company that is successful as a result of it, okay? But the truth is, that's the only area where you see them say you need to have X amount of years of software development, okay? you need to have X amount of time in, right? Look at this, okay? So everybody's going to throw that bull right up at the top, right? It means nothing. It means absolutely nothing, okay? Look at the way that this is phrased. Microsoft.NET experience, strong knowledge of Visual C, strong ASP, strong with SQL, right? Experience with MVC. Why don't you think they have any dates? Why don't you think that they have anything on there that says you should have 5 years experience in this? Why? Because you don't need it. Because you don't need it. My sisters, all you need to do is be able to speak the language, okay? And I'm going to provide for you free resources whereby you can learn Python programming, where you can learn ASP, where you can learn these things on your own. And guess what? When you go into an interview that is for, and this is a senior position, right? Oh no, it's just a .NET at Juno. When you go into this position, nobody's asking you how long you did it. The only thing that they're asking you is, can you do it? They're going to ask you syntax questions. They're going to ask you things that are relative to an ASP programming environment. And guess what? You can learn it at home for free right now. And when we look at these jobs, you know how when you go into a store, if you got to ask how much it costs, you can't afford it? Yeah, these jobs, they don't put how much it pays. You know why? Because it's $120,000. It's $100 an hour. If it's contract, you're doing $100 an hour. Right? So again, from my sister's standpoint, from the needs of, and so why do I say for my sisters? Why do I say for my sisters? Am I holding my brothers out? I am not. But what I am saying is software development, this is one of the primary areas where you're going to work from home. See, excuse me, this type of work is not based on you're coming into a job and doing 8 hours of output. We need to see, you know, and they're tracking what you're doing and they're watching. That's not what this kind of work is. This kind of work, what happens is a front-end team does their part on a work product, right? So you have a total project that's laid out, and you have one team that does graphics, and they're going to do their part. And then you have another team that does the front-end interface, what you see, right? The buttons, the logos, what's going to be shown on that screen. Okay, so they're going to do the front end. Then you've got a development team that's going to make this button resumes work. When I click that, it's got to go into my server, right? It's going to go into my server, and then it's going to go through the various directories on my computer in order to present that resumes link and the jobs and the career search. So you've got a developer that does their part. You've got a graphic artist that does theirs. You've got a front-end team that does theirs. And you've got all these different teams. So when you work in software development, you get a piece of the work product that's assigned to you, right? And no matter what time of the day you decide it's best for you to wake up and do that work, so if you are a night person and you want to work from midnight till 6 in the morning, whatever, do it. Nobody cares, right? Nobody cares. You can do it whenever you want. It is project-oriented, not task-oriented. Does that make sense? So it's not like the kind of jobs that we have worked. See? This is a whole different game. So, and when we look here, right, when we look, again, you do not see them discuss money. You know why? Because everybody's getting paid. Everybody is getting paid. So I'm going to provide for you resources for you all to explore this more than anything. So you're going to come away from this A+ certification training with specific skills. I did a search in Philadelphia. I'll do a search.
You want in Seattle? Thank you.
In Seattle? Okay.
Yeah. Washington.
331 jobs in Connecticut. Generally speaking, these jobs, when you come out of here, you're worth 45 grand all over the planet Earth. Okay? Some of them may be a little lower, some of them might be a little higher, but for the most part, I was in Kent, Washington before.
15.
Yeah. How much did they say? How much? Doesn't say. Okay. Look at this. 1 to 3. Look. The 1 to 3 years help desk experience, which includes responsibility for remote users. Right now, you're using a remote software. Right this minute, you are learning remote and the functionality, the hurdles that you had getting in here. These are common, right? What are the things that you bumped into? Audio problems, right? Visual problems, right? Making the screen large. All of the things that you had to do in order to be able to get comfortable with this WebEx, that's what they're talking about when they talk about remote users. You, today, are a remote user. Okay? Proficiency in software support, including Microsoft Office applications, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook, as well as IE Project, Visio, and SAP Client. If you have a problem with any one of those applications and you don't know how to solve the problem, somebody answer for me. How would you solve it?
Google.
Google that, Nimahama. Look. Google that. See? The answer is there. Right? Proficiency with the installation of and configuration of Windows 7 and 8. You're going to do that. We're going to do that in VMware. No problem. Strong organizational, communicational, interpersonal, and customer service skills. Look, I'm saying this, all of this, you're going to do this right here in this class. You will be qualified. So now when we read through this, right, you're looking at it and you're thinking to yourself, oh my God. Right? I don't know, right? The truth is, yeah. You will be qualified. You will do this. You will do this, and you will have more hands-on experience than anybody. Anyone that comes through any A+ certification class, they ain't never touched it. They're reading about it in a book. They came through the Network Plus class, they never touched it. They're reading about it in the book. You're going to do it. We're going to install VMware on your computer. We're going to give you the operating systems, and you're going to do the install of Windows 2008 and 2012 Server. So when they say knowledge of are preferred but not required, guess what? When you say, oh yeah, I built a 2012 AD infrastructure, and I added the roles of DNS and print server, and I added these various roles to my 2012 server and created at the top level of my forest, and then added some child domains to that forest. When you say that, suddenly, yeah, you went in there talking about desktop support specialists, but guess what happens? Suddenly they bump you to the next tier just like that. Just like that. You know what DNS is, DHCP, VPN, sonic firewall. So they throw these things out here, and I tell you, you're going to have these skills. You're going to have these skills before it's over. So Seattle, Washington, Seattle, Washington got a lot of love for you when you're done with this, if you so choose. Here's the thing. We can go and find, let me see.
You've been looking up a lot of arrows, huh?
Did you say arrows?
And quivers, I see bows.
Did you see bows? Where did you see that?
I saw your search engine. It was all bows and quivers and arrows.
Really? Where? Yeah,
when you
man.
first
Look.
clicked on it.
Huh?
When you first clicked on it, see, there they go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man, look. I'm not playing. I am not playing in this game. Look at this. A dual core. 40 gigabyte hard drive. Good machine. What I would really want to find, what I'd really be looking for is lots of laptops. So when I say lots, I don't mean a whole bunch. I mean, skids, pallets of broken laptops, or laptops that are in different states of disrepair. Because I guarantee you, coming out of a skid, at Frankenstein half, I'm going to come up with half good laptops. And if I can get them for a good number, I'm going to murder them. Look, and I think I already told you all, if I can get this laptop for $40, right? D6000s, they were good. I know why that they're selling this. There was a manufacturing defect on this model. Some of them were good. Some of them just out of the box were not. But it was a nice big screen, nice big keyboard. This is a great computer. If I can get this for $40, right, and I can fix it with an hour's worth of time, look, I can turn around and sell that to somebody in the community for $75, right? And if they don't got the whole thing right now, that's fine. It's fine. Give me 50. That covers everything that I just did, and I'll see you with the other 25 when you got it, okay? But I can do that over and over and over again, right? And after a moment, right, guess what happened? So I sold everybody a laptop, right? Again, I'll tell you a little story. I used to work in a pet store. I was real young. I was the manager of a pet store. And I was in a pet store in the hood, right? And everybody knew me, right? So, I would be alone in that pet store pretty much all the time. And my people would come through, what's up, Pete? Telling, all that, right? Well, I got a fish tank in my house from that pet store, right? And suddenly, all my men and all my people were like, yo, we want fish tanks too. So guess what I did? When they came in, I would give them fish tanks. I would do the okie doke, you know what I'm saying? Put the page sticker on it and let them run out the side door or whatever. But I would give them all fish tanks, right? Everybody got a 55-gallon fish tank, okay? The reason I got promoted because they bought the fish tank, yeah. But guess what? I mean, I gave them the fish tank. The fish tank cost about $40 bucks, $45, whatever, okay? But guess what? They needed 12 bags of rocks to fill the bottom of that fish tank. They needed a filter, a fluval filter, in order to be able to clean that water. They needed so many different things in order to make that fish tank functional that it actually turned a profit for the store. You see? And so the store promoted me based on the fact that everybody came back. Yes. And where did they come back to? When they needed some products, right? Where did they get the tank? Now, when they come back, I'm not giving them no breaks, right? You paying for them bags of gravel. You're paying for the filters. You're paying for the pumps. You're paying for the little man that swims up to the top and comes back down. You're going to pay for that, right? And so,
So the fish tank was basically like a loss leader?
Sorry?
So the fish tank was basically a loss leader because they always came back to buy more things?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So the store never noticed nothing. Like I said, they promoted me. And it's the same thing. If I repair these laptops and I sell these to my people, I make them good laptops, install the operating system. Look at this. Unstable working condition. So you know what I would do is, you see these broken laptops? I'd read through and find out everything that's going on, right? And figure out whether or not this is something I could fix, okay? If I could fix it for $27, I get that. I spend an hour, 2 hours, fix that thing up, and I basically give it to somebody in the community, right? Like I said, $75, that's nothing, okay? But you can hook up a printer to it. Your children can get online and do their studies and all the rest of that. So it makes a difference to somebody. But guess what? So it was just $75. And they're going to tell somebody else, hey, if you want a laptop, man, you need to go see your boy, right? Okay, so they're going to get a laptop, right? And you keep doing this. Suddenly everybody's got laptops. Everybody is, computer literate. You know what happens after that? Everybody gets a virus. Because each and every one of them, the first time they get a computer, they start to realize that they can surf porn and they get that stuff for free, and that's it. They're going to have a virus, right? The first thing that they're going to do is they're going to run off and they're going to hurt their computers. I can promise you that, right? So guess what? Yeah, you gave them the fish tank, you see? But when they come back for the antivirus removal, well, now you're going to have to pay for that, right? When they need an upgrade, when they need more power for a computer, where are they going to go? They're going to go right back to where they got the initial fish tank. Okay? I've done this so many times. How many? I don't know if I got anybody in the class. I lived in South Carolina. And when I moved out there, there was some brothers out on the block. And this is practical. You can use this right here, right now. There were some brothers out there on the block. I moved out there. And so I seen them out there. And so I grabbed me a 40 ounce and, something funky. And I went on out there. Introduced myself. Because I had watched them. I didn't just go running out. I watched them. I see what they was doing. They was bubbling and doing their things. Whatever. I'm not judging mine. Right? Okay. I grab a 40 and, and I go on out. How y'all, man? I'm Pete. You know what I mean? Just moved in over here. That's what's up. We chill. We cool out. In the next 2 to 3 days, okay, I found that behind where we lived in West Columbia, South Carolina, there was this warehouse where the state would send all of their old computers, right? So when the state does an upgrade, they're upgrading 10,000 computers in the state. Well, they got these old computers that they don't have anything to do with, right? So they would send it to this warehouse, and this warehouse would make them available to the public for $1, $2. You could walk in and you could buy these computers, right? So within 3 days of meeting my men, they're all on my Facebook. Within 3 days of meeting my men, we went over to the warehouse because they came up in the house and I started doing some recording. They saw what I could do with the audio, and dudes was like, "Oh my God, and I need to have that." I was like, "Well, let's go get you one." So we went over to the warehouse, looked up in the warehouse, and we're walking through, man, acres upon acres upon acres of hardware, right? Laptops, desktops, monitors, anything you want. Right? Okay. So we go in, and I go in and we look at the computers, and I show them how to identify what is good, what is current, what we're going to be able to do with it. Bring a screwdriver in so we can open it up, see if there's a hard drive, how much memory, these kinds of things, without having to boot it up. And so we go through and we do the diagnostics on the machines, and we grab 2 or 3 computers, right? We bring them back over to my spot. We throw an operating system on it. We upgrade the memory. We do whatever needs to be done with these machines. And now we got brand new working machines. Cats was sitting there 2 nights ago, bubbling whatever it was that they was bubbling on the block. From that point forward, they were selling computers to the community. Exactly what I'm describing to you. From that point forward, they were selling computers. Okay? And so I say to you, in every city, in every state, anywhere where you might be, you will find that the state government upgrades their computers. You will find that the local universities perform upgrades of their computers. And when they do, every single business, every single company, when they do, they are left with a problem. What to do with these old computers? Now, when we say old computers, they're upgrading. The upgrade schedule is generally about 2 to 3 years. So we're talking about good, current damn machines. We're not talking about 20-year-old with a 5 1/4 floppy drive. No, we're talking current machines, right? So in every city, in every state, in the United States, you will find these warehouses and these auction houses. And I'm telling you, there are people that are right now exploiting it. Most of the time, if you go to the flea markets in your area, you'll see them sitting there with computers. Guess where they got them? Guess where they got them? They're sitting there at the flea market with computers sitting there with graphics going on, and they got a movie going on, and they catching you. You know what I'm saying? You walk by, yeah, you done looked at the bootleg bags, the bootleg coach, and they catch you. They see they catch you with that monitor. You see it for whatever the second is. And so this is very easily done, and it bridges the digital divide. It allows you to provide computers to our people, provide literacy to our people, and so much more, and so much more, right? As well as feeding you, okay? There's a great one in Atlanta, an auction site. There's a bunch of them that are out there, and I'm telling you, the technology, yeah, you don't have to sell it. It's like crack, right? You don't have to, you ain't got to put up no billboards. Everybody knows, right? So I'm a big fan of these, of these types of machines. Read it. You don't just buy anything. You read it. No hard drive, no battery. Yeah, that's not a big deal. Right? Now, and again, so again, this is a really good deal because why would there be no hard drive and no battery? Because the hard drive maintains data. I told you that your computer could be in a fire, and I can take that data back. I can find that data, right? So the hard drive could potentially contain credit card data or HIPAA data, which is personal health information, PHI. So they're going to take out the hard drive. Why are they going to take out the battery? Because if that battery ends up in a landfill and somebody ties the serial number to that battery back to the corporation where it was licensed or purchased, they can be charged big, big money, right? Hundreds of thousands of dollars they can be charged. So they're going to pull the battery and they're going to pull the hard drive. Okay, how much was this? $18. Okay, I can get a hard drive for that for under $40. Okay. Every effort made to describe in all honesty. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Where is it? Up for auction, Dell Inspiron, no hard drive, no battery. The battery does power up with the battery and power cord, but has other issues. It does not come with a battery, power cord, or hard drive, and is sold for parts or repair only. That's easy. That's easy. So the charging system works. If it powers up with a battery, with the battery in there, and with the power cord, that means the charging system works. I can say unequivocally, the screen works, right? So the problems that he's talking about are OS related. I can put Windows 7 on this machine, and I have the full expectation that this will work for as long as I make it. Okay?
What's an example of a cheap laptop that you wouldn't buy? Like, what problems would be red flags to not purchase it?
Good question. Good question. Let's look at this. It's going to be based on the details. And again, even with the details, they could be, they could be lying, right? Let's see. Sold as is due to limited testing. This one powers on but gives no video display. Touchscreen is not cracked. See pics. No hard drive, no AC adapter. Battery appears fine but is not warranted. Caddy is still intact. All ports at visual inspection appear fine. Please note that we get these used laptops in great quantities and do not fully test them. This is a summary of what we observed. No refunds will be given for any reason. I would take this laptop, okay? I would take this laptop. The reason being it's an i5, which is a nice processor, right? If the screen, so he said there's no visible cracks and the screen doesn't come on. So what you do is, to test that out, is you plug in an external monitor to that laptop and turn it on. Does it show display? Then the problem is the screen itself. Okay? If it shows display, then the video card is working. The computer is working fine as it relates to sending video. It's not being received by the screen. Whenever there's a screen issue, there's only three things it could possibly be. Okay? And this is true with every single computer in the world. There's only three things it could possibly be if you have a screen issue. And with sequential testing, you'll know it immediately. You'll know it immediately. Again, Sherlock Holmes quote, when you've eliminated all which is impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. Okay? So in this case, the process of elimination, he said the screen doesn't work. This one powers on but gives no video display. That means it doesn't even light up at all. So my guess is it's going to be the power inverter for the Asus 400C, 2400C Touch. Oops, I didn't copy it. Asus. Asus. How much is the power inverter? $17.90. No, that's power supply. And no, not AC adapter. Power inverter. Nope. Nope. You can find this inverter, and the inverter is going to cost you LCD inverter. There it is. The inverter is going to cost. What's that?
Were you looking under shopping?
No, just general. No way. No way you're getting $92 for it. This is crazy. What is this? Let me see. Oh, that's the whole screen. That's the whole screen. $92. Okay? So if you had to replace the screen, that's the worst it is, right? If you needed to replace just the inverter, it's going to be, you know, 20 bucks, 30 bucks. And that comes back to life, right? So you asked, which one wouldn't I buy? I would probably take it. Powers On shows no video. And they didn't do any testing? Yeah, okay. I would probably take that one. Lot of 4 Lenovo ThinkPads.
What?
No hard drive, no RAM, no LCD, no keyboard, no power adapter, no battery. They have a DVD plus RW. 3 of them have a certificate of authenticity Microsoft label. They don't come with any CD, DVD, or key software. They're sold as is. Expect some scratches, blemishes, or signs of tape or wear. Now, I would not take these laptops, okay? They want $89. There's 4 of them. That's 4 times LCD screens, 4 times hard drive, 4 times RAM, and they want $89. By the time I'm done, I'm going to put in, so we look at the RAM, I'm going to spend maybe $40 on the RAM. Hard drive, maybe $20, $30. Keyboard, I'm going to spend another $30, $35 on the keyboard. Power adapter is going to be another $40. Battery, if you want, is going to be, you know, $40, $50. And then the time to put all of this together is going to be 4 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. By the time I'm done with that, I would need to get $500 a piece in order to break even, and these are old Lenovo laptops. Absolutely not. I would not think about it. Okay? There's just far too much that has to be done. I could not recoup how much I would have to put into these machines to make them viable. I'd have to sell them way too high. Is that a good guide? Here's a dual core. Look at this, 59 bucks, as is. Powers on, boots to BIOS, sold as is. No hard drive, no caddy included. No hard drive cover, no charge cover. Sold as is, no refunds, no returns. Boots up and goes to BIOS. Not giving a lot of info, okay? Not giving a lot of info. So unless it's a gateway, yeah, I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that. It's going to be very hard to find a caddy to hold that laptop, that hard drive. So when they say caddy, does everybody know what that is or have an idea what that is? Anthony, can you answer that?
No.
Anthony, what's a caddy?
I can't remember.
So when you build a laptop, right, when you put a laptop together, the hard drive has to fit in a chassis, something that will hold it and keep it. Yes, Charles, exactly. It holds it in place.
People sell their laptops without the caddy?
Because they took the hard drive out. They took the hard drive out, and they didn't take the time to take the caddy off that hard drive, even though when they use that hard drive anywhere else, they can't use that caddy. That caddy is specific to that laptop. So there's no real reason that they did that, except for being extremely lazy.
Yeah,
right?
I wouldn't mess with that.
No, because you know what it's going to be to try to find a caddy for that? And while you might be able to Afro-engineer, I like that word, while you might be able to Afro-engineer a solution, it's not a good one. And certainly not enough or good enough to give to a customer and comfortably feel like you've done good business. Right? So, no.
Afro engineer, I love it. Thank you.
Somebody was saying something?
Yeah, that Afro engineer. I love that.
Yeah, yeah, that Afro engineering, because we can't keep going with them old, look, that's Afro engineering. And so, but there was somebody else in the background that was saying something.
Hey, Peter, are there any of these eBay sellers that you kind of familiar with and trust? Because eBay just it's scary for me.
No, you read the reviews. That you got no option. You got to read how many people have bought from this person, right? What the ratings are for them. You really don't. Everything is a gamble, right? But here's the thing. I prefer this gamble to a one-armed bandit at the slot machine. In this case, I'm gambling on my own faculties, that I am able to look at this, determine that, first of all, whoever that's selling it is a jackass and really doesn't know what they're doing or can't fix it. It's outside of their league. Look at this. Processor. This laptop has scuffs, scratches from use, but is in overall good shape. It's been tested to power on, but the BIOS is locked, and we do not have the password. Note that the hard drive, memory, battery, and AC power adapter are not included. We are selling this for parts only. How much are they selling it for? $19.99. Who would buy this and why? Or who wouldn't buy this and why?
I wouldn't buy it because it's got too many parts to put back in it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been able to find a power adapter under $50 anywhere.
There was a place I used to get them. Now, let me tell you another thing. That happens. When you get into the industry, there's a certain level of camaraderie. So you can find a managed service provider around you, somebody that does business, fixing people's computers and stuff like that. And guess what? You can get their manufacturer's pricing. If you get cool with them, that ain't nothing. They'll order you a power supply and give you the their cost. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it doesn't cost them anything to do it. It's just a matter of look. And everybody here got this. If you can speak and present your case, you can get whatever you need out here. Anybody else? Would anybody buy this machine that we're looking at on screen? BIOS locked. You know what that means?
That's simple. Just take the battery out and put it back in. It's simple.
There you go. That's right. You reset that.
I have fixed those people have come to me with that, with their BIOS locked, and I've gone in and made $50 for a couple hours work.
Well, let me tell you something. I don't know if you knew this, but if they came in with their BIOS locked, they stole that computer, I mean, just so you know.
No, not my people, man. They touch their computers too much. They just too nosy and don't know what they're doing and go mess it up. I got some people, I know they bought the computer, but they mess it up because they just like touching things. People like to touch stuff.
I ain't never seen nobody that legitimately owned the computer and installed a BIOS password and needed that removed. I've never seen that.
I know people who've forgotten their passwords.
That's great, yeah. Hey, wait a minute now. I'd say that's crazy. The reason that today's class was only scheduled, after 9 o'clock was because I didn't know my WebEx password. So let's not, But so back to the jobs and what you'll be able to do. Look, how many did we say? There was 800 jobs in Seattle, Washington? Yeah. Everywhere that you are, there's work for exactly what you come out of here able to do, right? But even better than work, and Anthony can attest to this. Well, I mean, all of you can. Look how many people are walking around you with Band-Aids on their finger because they're using broken screens on their cell phones, right? I mean, that's easy. That's easy money. Let me show you another thing. Let me show you something else. You look at Craigslist, and before the end of this, it is my intent that everybody builds at least one ad for something, okay? But, where is it? Technical support, systems network. No, this is jobs. That's not what I want. I want services, computer services. So this is some dude who has built a website and is out here offering his services. And guess what? He built this as a template, and every week, at the beginning of the week, he runs it again. He runs it again, and guess what? He's catching them. He's catching them. Data recovery, data backup, computer health and security. You can do all of these. All of these. Now, looking at this, this is just he's a basic, he is just very, very basic. I suggest you have some graphics up there that speak to certification, maybe the Microsoft logo, some of these other things, but I would definitely make this far more professional, okay? But he's catching them. And all over the world, you will find that they're catching them. Let's go Northwest Connecticut. Services. Catching them. He's catching them. Everywhere that you're at. And you know what you do? Again, look at what they're out there advertising and advertise it. 95, we already spoke about it, the very first class that you were in, 95% of the problems that you're going to encounter are right there. Right there. And you can do it. Right? So in addition to the ability to go into the job market and take a handsome ransom, you don't have to. And it would be my preference that you didn't. That you came in and you began to build and work. Now, just because we're here, I'll show you another area, barter. I've gotten Cadillacs on barter. Yeah, see this? I've gotten Cadillacs on barter. People looking to have work done. I've done their computers, I've done their networks, and like that. So there is also the opportunity for you to, yeah, I was looking at that right there. There is also the opportunity for you to be able to get other things using the Craigslist, using the social networking elements that are out there. Okay. So again, you look at the Craigslist as an avenue for you to be able to drum up support, antivirus removal, data recovery, all of that. This, you out your mind. Whoa, what's this? High five, riding mode. You're crazy. Are you crazy? Look at this. Look at this. This is another avenue. I'm sure he's going to get this. Somebody's going to hit him up and offer him a riding mower. Are you out your mind? Yeah. You know how much this laptop is worth? Okay, so it's an i5, 8 gigabytes with an SSD hard drive. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. He wants a generator, carpenter, or some services, right? Yeah, well, I'm not that guy anymore. I don't do no work, but I do have a generator. I could build him a tiny little generator and take that laptop. But the point being, this laptop is worth maybe, I don't know, $250, right? $300. Outside of that, it's not worth more than that. But look at what he's doing. He's parlaying that up. So, again, I say this to say that the opportunity is vast in every area, not simply in the job market, but in the area of being able to trade, buy up, and provide technology support to the world. Okay? Does not close, latch properly. That's an expensive fix, actually. That's an expensive fix. Dell XPS, those were gigantic monitors. They were really, really nice. Yeah, $200. I doubt it. E6410, I remember those. Hard to kill. I don't see. What does he want for it? Trade for electronic Xbox 360, PS3, or other stuff. Yeah, yeah, okay. Fact is, I got a couple PS3s and Xboxes sitting around that I don't use, so that's not bad. That's not bad. I might take that. But I show you these things to say that, oh, laptop lot. Okay? I show you these things to say that resources are all around you to begin generating revenue from this skill. Okay? If you were to collect these, right? So, and again, you got to read them and determine what makes sense and what doesn't. And as we go along in the class, as we jump into the hard drive, into the hardware of the computer, you'll more easily be able to identify and determine.
He wants $100. He wants $100 for all four.
Let me see. Toshiba Satellite, those were good machines. Screen hinges broken off, that's a pain. That means you got to replace the bezel. It can be done, but okay.
Yeah,
Wires were pulled out. Good for parts. Everything was working before the screen came apart. Missing a Windows and F2 keys. Easy. Get a new keyboard, $30. Get a new bezel and do the work. It'll take you an hour to pull that bezel out and put it back in. But that's not bad. I can do that. That's not bad. Older, running Windows 7. He don't even know what old is. He don't even know what old is. A85, that was a good machine. Needs drivers for mouse pad, or use a wireless mouse. Works the charger, fine. Needs a hard drive, but one runs when it wants. Outside is a little beat up for parts and repair, comes with charger. HP to Pavilion, again, that was the, there was a recall on those. HP was one of those that discontinued that laptop model, and Best Buy bought them, Target bought them, all of those places bought those junk machines and started selling them, and that's why you see these out there. Needs a hard drive, comes with a charger. That's not bad. Will entertain offers on the lot. Try me. RC, electronic, laptop, gaming, make an offer. So he ain't say $100, did he? Oh. Yeah, he did.
For the lot.
Yeah, he did.
That's easily worth $350. You could take it in pieces and sell it in pieces.
Easy.
Easy.
I'll kill him with that. 4 laptops? Yeah. And all of them, in their own right, will come back to life. I'll bring all 4 of those back to life. Oh, yeah. That's a good deal. That's a good damn deal right there. Yeah. And so that's, I mean, really, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I like, is to find lots, to find, 10, 15 laptops at a very low price. I'll take that all day long. Windows 10, 8 gigs of RAM, 500 gigabyte hard drive, tiny hard drive. What does he want? Hobby, grade, RC cars, helicopters, planes, get out of here. Yeah. But, again, this is to demonstrate that pretty much anywhere you go, you will find the ability to eat right out there. It's there. 150 your best offer. Yeah, you ain't got no information on it. Everything works fine. Need the money. You got nothing in there.
Nope.
No, look at the crack across that screen there.
Yeah, no way.
That's banged on.
I'd make him an offer for like 50, see if he take it.
Yep, that's it. I mean, look at the wear on that.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, I could refurb it. I could clean it up. And I could definitely see one of mine using that positively. But he ain't going to get what he asking.
Nope.
You ain't going to get no $150 for that. Now, that's a nice machine.
What?
Alienware. How you out your, yeah, see, this is the thing. And so what they do is they put their dreams out there. He wants the Alienware machine. Y'all know what an Alienware laptop is?
Yeah.
He wants Alienware.
Is
Why?
that for gaming?
Huh?
That ain't,
Is that for gaming?
Yes.
that's not happening.
He wants to give up some garbage,
Yeah.
right, to get something like this? To get Alienware? Alienware is the kind of thing that DeMonte wants, right? This dude thinks he's going to give this. Now, that's not to say this is not a bad laptop, but it is not Alienware. Ain't nobody going to give him that. So they have unrealistic expectations as it relates to the value, or they try to inflate it to see what they can get.
I also offer him like 150, see if he want to sell it instead.
Mm-hmm.
He's not getting no Alienware.
That is crazy. My brother said he was in Seattle, Washington. Ooh, wait a minute. Oh, stop the presses. HP Compact 14-inch 6910 laptop with Windows 7 antivirus and more, only one left. Dual core, that's kind of slow. 4 gigabyte DDR2 memory, wow, that's old memory. 250 gigabyte SATA hard drive, this dude is out there getting them. So you wouldn't want to buy this from him. You would want to find where the hell he's getting them. He's buying them from the same auction houses that I'm telling you about. And he's refurbing them because the prices that he just gave you, that's what I do. $150 for that laptop. And you know why? Because you're going to see it. It's clean. It looks good. You don't know that DDR2 is the most expensive memory that you could ever buy in your life, right? You don't know that that is an old hard drive style, right? You don't know that. All you know is that this computer is good. It'll get on the internet. It'll do everything that you need to do. If you ever go to upgrade it, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg, okay? But it is a good machine, right? I'm not giving him $100 for that. I prefer to buy, you know, a lot of 100 of them and let the price for that go down to $20 a piece. I'll do that. Give me $20 a piece. I'll give you $20 a piece on 100 of them all day. All day. Right? What's this? Needs operating system. $50. Man.
What?
I'd take that. Who's in Washington?
I got a friend in Washington. That's about it.
Transformer book needs an operating system. I'm going to whack it and put an operating system on it anyway. I mean, that's nice. $50, I'll take that. Okay? And again, flip it. Flip it. Damn. Yeah.
Great.
That's right up DeMonte's. I'm recording this? Yeah, DeMonte, you'll see this later. That is right up his alley. I shouldn't even have this on screen. You ain't going to do nothing but cost him and his people money. 1700, big money on Craigslist, huh? A MacBook. Okay, no, that's just a charger. Wow. What the hell?
What?
Those were good servers right there. I've used those as servers. Those were really good machines. Yeah. Yeah, I love those. $80. I can see that. $750. Yeah, these people in Seattle, they got too much money.
Yeah, they do.
They got too much money. They out there. You looking for $500 on it. Man, look, on Craigslist. That doesn't work. Okay, Apple MacBook needs parts. 13-inch needs parts. What parts?
Yeah. I think it's listed next to it. The next one?
So RAM, hard drive. RAM hard drive, that's not bad. $65 on a MacBook. Oh, you know what I'm turning around and selling that for? Yeah, that's an easy win right there. That's a very easy win. So again, why do I bring you in here today? Just to show you what can be done, what there is. Look in the services area. This is where I intend for you all to be, is to have your ads here. Look at this. Good God. This is the most abysmal ad I've ever seen. But again, there it is. There it is. Legally licensed, accredited, and 24 hours a day. Resumes are available on demand. Let me ask you something. Anybody heard of any license associated with working on PCs? Yeah, there is.
No.
You're just saying. You're just throwing out words.
Mm-hmm.
He's throwing out words out here. Yeah. So again, you can do this. You can eat from this. Okay, you can absolutely eat from this, and the areas in which you can do not know an end. I described walking into a bank and speaking to them, knowing that their ATMs are running Windows XP. Yeah, I can do this all over the world. Okay. I mentioned the auction houses that are near you in every single city and every single state in the United States of America. There is nothing to stop you. It is public access. You can walk in there any day you want and begin looking through those laptops, looking through those, and nothing's written in stone. You bring a, because they would have like, you know how they have the baskets in your supermarket? They have baskets up in there. And you bring your basket full of laptops and say, look, you know, that one's this, and I'm going to give you $2 for that one, and I'll give you $1 for this one, and, you know, and they're open to it. Yeah, whatever, take it. You know, take it. I got to the point where I was going to the spot in South Carolina, he would see me so often, be like, man, take that, man, whatever you want. See, this is all out there. Furthermore, I found lots of, when I say lots, again, I'm not talking about quantity. I'm talking about type. Closeout lots, yeah, wholesale lots, mixed computers in liquidation, right? That's what you're looking for. That's what you want, is lots of computers or lots of hard drives. These things, ooh, a lot of 4 Dell Optiplex. These were great. $94. Those were great machines. He got it on the scale, ready to ship it to you right this minute. Are you kidding me? Good machines. $84, great for the community. Great for the community. Okay. For the children to be able to go and do their work at school, absolutely fine. A lot of 5 laptops, Dell Latitude, E6400s, really. Okay. Okay, that's 5 laptops for $115. None of them have hard drives or caddies. Take the caddies out. Come on, man. Missing keys or no keyboard, no RAMs, and no batteries. Yeah, again, do the assessment on it. Do the math on how much it's going to cost. Those caddies are a pain to try to replace. A lot of 2 for $93. So again, there's food out there. You hear me? A lot of 24 Dell Optiplex 755s. 24 of them. That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. I started a small school with that. That's not bad. $5.99. And that's just a suggested. I'd make an offer on that. So again, look at this, $134. So if I take this, bring this home, install Windows 7 on it, place the keyboard, mouse, and a small monitor with it, and sell that for $100 each, I'm doing good. Not only am I doing good for myself, but I'm doing good for whoever it was that just got a machine for $100. Right? We bridge the digital divide. So wherever you are, this works. There's no place that this isn't real. Okay? yeah, this is, yeah, I might change my whole day. I might go through here and grab some things out here, right? Well, so, and I will tell you, you will find that, oh, that's in Vermont too. It's right up to, I was going to go up to Vermont today. You will find that after every Sandbox, you come away from it kind of like with a new track. So kind of like, okay, let me just go look at this real quick. Every Sandbox is going to do the same thing. Each one is going to kind of push you in a different direction. Again, I had no plans in mind for the day relative to Sandbox. DeMonte just hit me with a two-piece real quick last night. So hopefully this has been helpful, educational, and kind of directional. Any questions, concerns, accusations?
Accusations, huh?
You got to field it all, you know. Yeah, but I strongly suggest jump in, look at, you don't put a Craigslist ad out right now. Oh yeah, and I'm going to send you all, I'll put in the file section in the room a copy of my resume so that you all can download it. Or you can also, I'll create a post there. You can send your resumes to Lisa, and we can start getting your resumes up to speed. Okay. But again, don't necessarily make any ads on Craigslist yet, right? Get your skill up, get your comfortability up. But look at some of them and look and see, you know, the buzzwords and what a good one looks like to you and what a bad one looks like to you. And kind of get an idea as it relates to if you were to build one, if you was looking to build your business and you needed to eat off of this, how would you catch them, right? And that's what it's all about. Where would you grab your machines, right? How would you negotiate the best price for you to get those machines, and then how would you catch them on the other end? Okay. So
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a question about the chapters in the books. It appears that almost every chapter has at the end review questions.
Yeah.
Now, those questions in, let's say, chronological order from the first question to the last question throughout the chapters?
Are they in order?
In chronological. In other words, the first review question will be the first question you'll hit as you read from the very beginning of that chapter. The second question will be, you know, after that one. The third question will be after that one.
I don't think so.
Not necessarily.
They're kind of random?
Man,
okay, they're kind of random.
And you gotta know the reason for that is to kind of acclimate you to what you're gonna get hit with when you actually do the test. They could come from anywhere.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, because I did.
That chapter will be inclusive of the content there, but it won't necessarily explicitly say exactly what it said. It might use different words to have you explain that you understand the concept.
What I have discovered is that what I've discovered on examcompass.com is that their questions pretty much line up because they have the practice test, and their practice test number 1, the first question is about the BIOS. So they pretty much match up with the chapters that you find in any A+ book as you go along, because that's how I've been doing it. I'd go into the test, and if I don't understand something, I'd look it up real quick in the book, and I'd look it up on YouTube, and I'd listen to Professor Mesa all at the same time, and then come back to the question so I can answer it on my own. They seem pretty chronological on that, because I haven't had any VMware questions or anything like that yet. I'm up to number 7.
No, you won't. So don't look for VMware. You won't. Yeah. That's something that's going to put you ahead of the game. The fact that you can speak to VMware, that separates you from any A+ trained technician anywhere on earth. The fact that you can.
Speaking on that, where could I find simulations on VMware? Because I'd like to get started practicing it like right now.
Why don't I just upload it into the room? I think I got a video that will show you all how to download and install it. Why don't we start working with VMware immediately?
Okay.
I was thinking about getting that to you all this morning, and maybe a couple of Linux operating systems for you to play with. So maybe that's what we're going to do next week. But I'll get the VMware up there for you. Forget the simulation. Jump in and play with it.
Okay.
Okay. Peter, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
This is Carrie. About that Linux that he tried to get us to download the other night. For some reason, it would not let me download that. My computer was telling me I had to put it on a disk.
No. You downloaded it. What happened is you clicked on it, and it's asking you to put a disk in for you to burn it. So it's an ISO file, okay? And once you have the VMware client, you'll go into the VMware client, right-click, and you'll be able to point to that ISO file. So that ISO file is basically like a CD-ROM, right? Your computer can use that like it's a CD-ROM, okay? What you're seeing is the fact that you've already downloaded it, actually, and you're clicking on it to try to use it, and you don't want to do that. And that should be explained to everyone. When you get the ISO files, you don't want to click them on your computer. You want
Mojo told us to download them and then don't do anything.
Right. Because what you could potentially do is completely overwrite your own operating system. We want to use this in the virtual environment of VMware. So in VMware, you can install, Windows Server, Windows 98, Windows XP. You can install Linux. You can install every operating system in the VMware and not hurt your computer. Your operating system is still the same, but you can practice in those different OSs. So you need the VMware client to be able to actually use that. Now, the fact is that's a Linux ISO. So if you were to throw a disk in and burn that and boot up, turn your computer on with that disk in, it would install the Linux operating system as your primary OS.
Okay, I think I understand now. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Could you eventually offer IT services targeting small to medium businesses? Are there other certs needed to resell? None. None. You do not have to have any certs. I had been 15 years into the industry before I ever got one. I only got one because I was bored and wanted one. I didn't need it. So yes, you can absolutely. You've got small insurance companies that are around your home, and right now, guess who's performing their security? Nobody. I can tell you. I can tell you right now that you can. Anybody, any city that you're at, you can walk into a small insurance company right now, and you can speak to 5 areas where they are out of compliance. And just the fact that I know that means that I'm a threat. Do you understand? The fact that I know that you're not in compliance, right? The fact that I know that you don't have PII protected, that you don't have HIPAA protected, that you are not SOX compliant or PCI compliant. The fact that I know that means that if I walk out with that knowledge, I could potentially bring your business down. You understand? So now I can completely tailor my conversation not to trying to sell my services so much, but to put myself in a position of understanding where you are in your industry. And I know where you are, and I've got a turnkey solution to bring you into compliance so nobody can walk up in the door and do to you what I'm doing to you right now. See? Nobody can shake you down after that. You feel me?
Wow.
And this is true in small insurance agencies. This is true in small law offices. Every business, I don't care where you go, your gas station has got wireless access points in there and nobody's maintaining them for them. They have PCI devices and nobody is updating that software for them and they're out of compliance. And every single business in every single city is a potential client just waiting for you to step in and take that business. Now, it is also more expensive for them to hire somebody to be on staff to handle that for them. So guess what happens? Their little nephew Ralphie who knows something about the internet comes in there and he's handling their computers. But guess what, Mr. Organization Owner? Isn't your business more viable than trying to trust your compliance and security to Ralphie, right? Because if auditors come in and you're not compliant in these areas, what is the potential cost to you and your business? Can you in fact take a $50,000 hit for your infractions, for every infraction, for every PCI device that is not encrypted and sending credit card information through the wire? Can you, in fact, take $50,000 hit for every one of those devices and stay in business? Okay? And so the truth is that they can't. So you're hearing this conversation, right? But in this conversation, I'm not really asking questions. I'm leading them where I need them to be. The 1-2 punch is when I have illustrated on a portfolio, and I've got my paper here in front of me that goes through and it describes and defines what it is that I'll do for your organization, what it is that they can be comfortable with, and finally, most importantly, how are we going to price this? How are we going to get paid? What you want to do is you want to have a contract where you're going to maintain that client's infrastructure, their technology, and their security, and they're going to pay you a flat rate per month, okay? And it doesn't matter if the flat rate, it doesn't matter if they call you 100 times, and it doesn't matter if they call you 1 time. They're going to give you a flat rate per month. If you can get 10 contracts like that, you don't have to work for nobody else ever again. Right? And then when you get that contract, you go in and you install remote software. So that way, from home, you can get into that computer, you can service and solve whatever problems that they have, and get back out and get back into your bed. Right? And that's what you want. And it's not far off because, again, the need exists. They have that need.
Check it out.
Right? It's uncomfortable from the bed. You know, I had the monitor up above the screen. It's hard to explain when family and loved one comes over. It's just not something you want, you know, in your life. But the truth is that they're out there waiting. This business, when you got 8.1 million unfilled IT jobs, what we're talking about is big players, right? HP, Dell, Symantec. We're talking about big players that have a void that they can't get filled. Well, what do you think that does to the small business, right? What do you think that does to the small business? Now, don't go to Target. Target's got a corporate office. They've got headquarters, and they're maintaining that wherever it is, right? But let me tell you something. Your mom and pop restaurant down the street, guess what? They got computers, they've got micros, and they've got kids that are working on those computers. I guarantee you they're full of viruses, they're slower, they're not working the way they're supposed to. Easy win. The sub shop, yo, easy win. I never had to pay for anything at a sub shop. Know why? Because I fixed their computers when I stepped in the door. Easy win. How did I fix their computers? The 5 tools that I showed you the very first day. Easy win. Easy win. Okay? This is how to eat forever.
I got somebody broken down in front of my house. I'm going to go see what's going on with that.
See if they got any computers, laptops, anything they want to sell. We can help you. No. All right.
Well, Peter, you be hustling.
Hey, look, you know, I had to do this. This is it, you know, this is that life.
Yeah, Peter, just a question. Is there a minimum amount of time that we all should spend studying personally?
My guess is you'll get through this data after each class with about an hour of study per class.
Okay.
Okay, about an hour of study. Again, remember on Saturdays in the Sandbox, we're always going to close the book up. We're going to introduce you to visual programming. I want you to get the practical application of what it is that we're learning in the book. That's what separates us from any other A+. Is
this is
how
powerful.
do you use it? You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
How do
this
you
is
use
powerful.
it? Yeah.
Yes.
So now, the last thing, and Anthony, you might be outside of this, man. I don't know. We'll have to talk
I'm
about
back. My neighbor's helping them.
Oh, you wasn't even here. I was talking about you.
Okay. Well,
I said, you might be outside of what it is that I'm speaking about right now. I'll talk to the team and find out. But whoever is the first to make $100 using the skills that you have developed here in this class, whoever is the first to get $100, I will send to you an all-in-one reader. That will allow you to plug in any hard drive of any type. That will allow you to plug in any SD card of any type. It will allow you to take any data storage device, plug it in, and do data retrieval, data archival, and all of those different things. Okay? So whoever is the first to make $100 and prove it to the class, using the skills that you developed here, you get a prize. That prize is equal to what your registration fee was. Okay? So some incentive to using this. Okay?
Put my name on it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. All right, my beloved, any questions?
I have a question about software development. You said that you recommend the sisters go through in the avenue.
Yes.
How long would it take for us to be up to speed for that after this class? Because we wouldn't be ready right after this class. How would we?
Because this class is going to demand that you focus on this content, and we're not going to be focused on software development in this class. I'm going to give you resources for you to be able to go forward in it. But in this 3-month period, the amount of time that we spend here, you'll be focused here. Now,
Right.
The question: how long would it take for you to become proficient? The answer to this is going to be completely contingent upon how focused and dedicated you are. You could spend a month binging, drinking coffee, eating pizza, growing Billy Joel bags up under your eyes, and be a master. It's completely up to you. Same way people will sit down and binge watch, well, like I did, Luke Cage, Power Man.
Yeah.
Or binge watch one of their favorite shows. If you put that same amount of dedication into this, I promise you. Yeah, and again, looking at those jobs, they didn't say to you that you needed to spend 6 months or eat the pizza for the 3. They didn't say that. All they say is you need to be comfortable with it. And if you do that, you're going to have the vernacular, you're going to have the syntax, you're going to have the format, and you're going to have the ability to do this. Okay? So
3 hours, three dedicated.
That's you.
Yeah. 3 dedicated hours a day for about 2.5 to 3 months. You can master pretty much everything here. If you have help too, like Peter.
That's right.
That's what I'm talking about.
So
That's basically what I'm doing right now is basically 2 to 3 hours a day testing, learning, going back over it, 2 to 3 hours a day, regardless of what's going on that day.
Yep. And if you put that dedication, you know, there was a quote I heard, and I say it to the children all the time. If when you are a child, and again, it relates to adults as well, if you determine to do one thing, just one thing, and you practice it and do it at a ridiculous rate, you will be the best at that thing on earth. Just one thing. So if you take a little Tiger Woods and you give him a golf club, and that's what he's going to do. Every day after school, he's going to play golf. Every night we're going to sit out there. We're going to play some golf. You're going to be putting after the dinner table. You're going to be doing these different things. If you do that, just one thing, and you practice it ridiculously long, you will be the best at it. So the answer to your question is, when you say how long would it take for you to be proficient, it is dependent upon how long you take to do it.
So my thing is this also, like I hear y'all talking and y'all have certain experience and knowledge of, I'm talking about the other classmates. I just feel like, how do I get my confidence? Because some of the things they say that they're doing to get knowledge, it's like, I'm kind of anxious to even touch the key on something to try, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I'm going to screw up, you know what I'm saying? So I just want to be able to feel like that I'm going to be able to do this, you know what I'm saying? And I'm giving it all that I have, but I just need to, is the confidence going to come with each class, or how do I break out of my fear of not being able to do it?
So here's the thing. With this new 901, 902, right? It kind of changed. The data didn't really change. What changed was the format. So in the older versions, the 801, the 802, the 701, the 702, they went the kind of the way that I like to go, which is ground up, starting from plastic, right? What is a motherboard, right? How is a motherboard constructed? What does it look like? What are the elements? How do you identify it? How do you purchase it? And you start and learn from the ground up from the motherboard. And then from the motherboard, then we install some RAM into that machine. What different kinds of RAM are there? How do you determine one RAM from another? Are all of the RAM compatible? And so when you go through and we study, and so I promise you, as we move through the chapters, you will get this. As you go through and you learn about these individual parts, components, and pieces, and you learn how they interact, there will come a place where you realize that there's only 5 things that I need in order to be able to put the computer together. All I need is my memory, my hard drive, my motherboard, my video card, my output device. That's it. And once you know that, once you've gone through the hardware and you've seen these things and you've had the opportunity to ask questions, that is when you will put your hands into it and you will do it. You will do it comfortably.
I think what you might need to do is go and buy some of those completely broken down laptops and completely broken down desktops, and you might not even want to put it together to repair it so they work, but to have them hands-on in where you live, so you can take a screwdriver to it and learn what each part is. That might help you, and that might only cost about $60 to get both a laptop and a desktop, so you can see what the pieces are.
Yep. But we're going to go through it, and you will gain that confidence that you speak of. There comes a place. So this is the very first class. What we did was we cleaned up your computers, right? We sped up your computers. All right. So right now, without any other classes, you could go to any computer. As I said, 95% of the problems in the world on computers today are user-generated. They're viruses, they're spam, they're malware, they're like that. 95% of those computers today, you could go fix right here, right now. I want you to give yourself some credit for that, because that is a difference. And as we go forward, you will find yourself more comfortable doing it. So if I show you how to fix it, how it's built, how to troubleshoot it, guess what? You'll be less worried about breaking it because you know that you can fix it.
Okay.
All right?
And you're in this class, so
Thank you.
it. Right? That's all you need. You're in this class.
That's right. I'm here to answer your questions. I will never not be a resource to you. And as a group, you become a family, and you will be a resource to each other. So you are not alone, right? And that's what this is all about. That's what Echo is all about. You're not alone. Yeah, you will get it. Okay?
Thank you.
Absolutely. Did I ever post the links into the secret group? Which links, bro? For the resume. No, I didn't put it up there yet. I'm going to do it because I'd be talking. But once Debo leaves, I'll put it back up again, All right, yeah, and we're going to get you the address to send yours as well. All right, my beloved. It is, again, I love the Sandbox. It's always my pleasure. I didn't want to jump right in and get into some of the fun stuff in the Sandbox. I kind of wanted to ease into it. But, yeah, I can't wait. Y'all, you think you're excited now? You have no idea. Like a deer with no eyes? You have no idea. All right. My beloved, y'all have a great Saturday. Powerful, productive. Yeah, hey, keep your eyes out for that technology, how you can use it, how you can make your money, right? Eat. $100. First person to make $100.
Yes, indeed.
All right, then.
Thanks. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Thank you.
All right.
Everybody have a good one.